My stepmom, who always hated me, framed me for stealing her $3,000 designer bag to get me kicked out. When my dad found out, she lied. She begged me not to press charges, but I sued her anyway. Now she's the one homeless. I sued my stepmom into homelessness after she framed me for theft, and I'm not sorry. My stepmom has hated me since the day my dad married her when I was 14. I'm 22 now. She made my teenage years hell with passive-aggressive comments about my weight, my clothes, how I'd never amount to anything. My dad always took her side. Always. Last month I was visiting for dinner. Big mistake. She had this new designer bag sitting on the kitchen counter. Some fancy brand I can't even pronounce. She kept going on about how it cost $3,000 and how my dad bought it for their anniversary. I left around 9 p.m. The next morning my dad called me screaming. "How could you do this? After everything we've done for you?" I had no idea what he was talking about. Turns out the bag was missing. My stepmom told him I stole it. She said she saw me eyeing it all night and that I must have taken it when she went to the bathroom. I told him I didn't take anything. He didn't believe me. He said I had always been jealous of her. That I resented their happiness. He told me not to come back until I returned the bag and apologized. I was devastated. But also furious. I knew I didn't take it, so I started wondering what actually happened. Then my dad's brother called me 2 days later. My uncle has never liked my stepmom. He said he needed to tell me something. He had gone over to help my dad look for the bag. While they were searching, he found it. In the garage. Hidden under a tarp in a box with other stuff my stepmom was planning to sell online. She was going to sell my dad's anniversary gift to her. And she blamed me to cover her tracks. My uncle took photos. He showed my dad. My dad called me crying. He said he was so sorry. That he should have believed me. That my stepmom admitted everything when he confronted her. But here's the thing. It wasn't just about the bag. My uncle also found messages on her phone while my dad was confronting her. She'd been cheating on him for 8 months with some guy she met at her gym. The affair partner had expensive taste. She was selling her stuff to buy him gifts. My dad kicked her out that night. She called me 2 days later sobbing. She said she made a mistake. That she was scared and panicking about the affair and took it out on me. She said my dad wouldn't help her anymore and she had nowhere to go. Her family disowned her years ago for reasons I never knew about but now make sense. She was staying at some motel. Then she said it. "Please don't press charges. I'll lose everything." I had already called a lawyer. What she did was defamation. It damaged my relationship with my dad. I have texts and emails from family members who heard about the theft calling me names. My reputation was destroyed in our family circle for something I didn't do. My lawyer said I had a solid case. She begged. She cried. She said she'd do anything. I sued her anyway. It took 4 months. She couldn't afford a good lawyer. My dad refused to help her. He actually offered to pay my legal fees. The court ruled in my favor. She had to pay me damages for defamation plus my legal costs. It came out to around $45,000. She didn't have it. They garnished her wages. She lost her apartment. Last I heard from my uncle, she's living in her car. My dad and I are rebuilding our relationship. He feels guilty. He keeps saying he should have trusted me. We're in therapy together. It's helping. But I got a message last week from her. Just 2 words. "I'm sorry." I didn't respond. Some of my friends think I went too far. That she's already lost everything. That making her homeless was cruel. But she tried to destroy my life over a bag she was going to sell anyway to fund her affair. She made my dad think his own daughter was a thief. She didn't care what that would do to me. My dad supports what I did. My uncle thinks she got what she deserved. But I see her messages sometimes and I wonder if I became the monster she always said I was. Should I have just let it go after my dad kicked her out? My stepmom showed up at my apartment. I have no idea how she got past the building security. I opened my door to grab my mail and she was just sitting there in the hallway. She looked terrible. Greasy hair. Same clothes she probably wore for days. She started crying the second she saw me. I lost my job. They fired me because of the garnishment. I have nothing left. I told her she needed to leave. She grabbed my arm. Not hard, but enough that I stepped back. "You don't understand what you've done to me. I made one mistake and you ruined my entire life." One mistake. That's what she called years of hating me, framing me for theft, and cheating on my dad. I told her to get out or I'd call the police. She left but not before saying, "You'll regret this." I called my dad right after. He sounded exhausted. Turns out she'd been harassing him too. Showing up at his work. Calling him 30 times a day from different numbers. He had to change his phone number twice. Then last month my uncle called me. Remember him? The one who found the bag? He said my stepmom contacted him on social media. She sent him this long message about how I was a vindictive witch who destroyed her life. How she was going to make sure everyone knew what kind of person I really was. My uncle blocked her, but he wanted me to know. 2 weeks after that, I started getting friend requests from accounts I didn't recognize. All of them had posts about me. Fake posts. One said I stole from my workplace. Another said I was a drug addict. There were photos of me from my social media with captions calling me a thief and a liar. She made at least 6 fake accounts. All of them tagging my friends, my coworkers, even my boss. My boss called me into his office. He showed me the messages. Someone sent the company an anonymous tip that I had a history of theft. With screenshots of those fake posts. My boss knows me. He didn't believe it. But he had to document it. I had to explain the whole situation to HR. It was humiliating. That's when my dad got involved again. He hired a private investigator. Sounds dramatic, but he wanted to know what else she was doing. The Pi found out she was living with the affair partner now. The gym guy. Turns out he's married too. His wife had no idea. The Pi also found out my stepmom was posting in online groups trying to crowdfund money. She was telling people that her abusive stepdaughter sued her into homelessness. Complete lies. She raised almost $2,000 before the platform shut her down for fraud. My dad was livid. He called her. I was there when he did it. He put her on speaker. You need to stop. What you're doing is harassment. It's illegal. She laughed. Actually laughed. What are you going to do? Have your precious daughter sue me again? I have nothing left. You already took everything. My dad's voice got cold. We didn't take anything. You destroyed your own life. And if you contact her or me again, I'm filing a police report. She hung up. But the harassment didn't stop. She started leaving reviews on my social media pages. 1-star reviews on my photography page. I do freelance work. She said I scammed her. That I took her money and never delivered photos. All lies. I had to disable reviews temporarily. I lost 3 clients because of it. My lawyer said we could take her back to court for harassment. But she has no money. No assets. There's nothing to take. She's judgment-proof at this point. My lawyer said the best thing I could do was document everything and wait for her to slip up enough for criminal charges. Last week she contacted my mom. My real mom, who I barely have a relationship with. They divorced when I was 6. My mom called me confused. She said my stepmom told her that I'd gone crazy. That I was making up lies about her to get attention. That my dad and I conspired to destroy her because we're both narcissists. My mom didn't believe her, but the fact that she tracked down my mom was terrifying. My dad feels guilty about all of this. He keeps saying if he had just believed me from the start, none of this would have happened. We're still in therapy, but it's hard. He enabled her for years. Let her treat me like garbage because it was easier than standing up to her. Now he sees it, but the damage is done. My friends are split. Half think I should have just let it go after the lawsuit. That I got my justice and now I'm just feeding into drama. The other half think she's a psycho and I need to protect myself. One friend said you didn't make her homeless, she made herself homeless. But it doesn't always feel that way when I see what she's doing now. The affair partner's wife found out last week. She called my dad somehow. Got his new number from someone. She wanted to know everything. My dad told her the whole story. She said she was leaving her husband and thanked us for exposing what kind of person my stepmom really was. Then she said something that stuck with me. People like her don't change. They just find new victims. I keep thinking about that. About how my stepmom spent 8 years making me feel worthless. How she framed me without hesitation. How she's now trying to destroy my reputation because I held her accountable. And I wonder if I'll ever really be free of her or if this is just my life now. She got arrested last week. I didn't think it would actually happen, but my lawyer was right. She kept pushing until she crossed a line she couldn't come back from. It started when she showed up at my work. Not just in the parking lot. Inside the building. I was at my desk and my coworker came over looking uncomfortable. She said there was someone in the lobby asking for me. I went down and there she was. Sitting in the waiting area like she had an appointment. The second she saw me, she stood up. We need to talk. I told her to leave. She refused. Said she wasn't going anywhere until I listened to her. My boss came out because the receptionist had already called him. He told her she needed to leave or he'd call security. She started yelling. Calling me a spoiled brat. Saying I destroyed her life over nothing. That I was a vindictive little witch who couldn't handle the fact that my dad loved someone other than me. Security escorted her out. She was screaming the whole way. Everyone in the office saw it. I had to go home early because I couldn't stop shaking. My dad wanted to file a police report right then. I said no. I thought maybe that would be the end of it. That she'd finally realize she needed to stop. I was wrong. 2 days later, I came home to find my car keyed. Long, deep scratches across both sides. The word thief carved into the hood. My building has cameras, but they're only at the entrances. The parking garage isn't covered. The police took a report but said without footage there wasn't much they could do. I knew it was her. My dad knew it was her. But we couldn't prove it. Then she went after my dad's business. He owns a small consulting firm. She left dozens of one-star reviews on every platform she could find. Made up stories about how he was a fraud. How he scammed clients. How he was abusive to employees. My dad had to hire a reputation management company to get them removed. It cost him thousands. His business partner called him furious. They were losing potential clients because of the reviews. People would Google the company and see all this fake garbage. My dad had to explain the whole situation. His partner said they might need to consider legal action against my dad, because his personal drama was affecting the business. That's when my dad finally snapped. He went to the police station with everything. The fake social media accounts. The reviews. The harassment. The showing up at my work. The keyed car. All of it. They said they'd look into it but didn't sound optimistic. 3 days ago, the affair partner's wife called me. I don't know how she got my number. She said she needed to tell me something. Her husband had kicked my stepmom out. Apparently she'd been stealing from them. Small things at first. Cash from his wallet. Jewelry. Then she tried to take the wife's credit card. The wife caught her and that was it. So my stepmom was homeless again. Living out of her car again. And apparently losing her mind. The wife said my stepmom had been texting her husband nonstop. Hundreds of messages. Blaming me for everything. Saying I was the reason her life fell apart. That she was going to make me pay. The wife forwarded some of the messages to me. They were unhinged. Talking about how I deserved to suffer. How she should have gotten rid of me years ago when she had the chance. I showed them to my lawyer. He said that was enough. We filed for a restraining order and submitted everything to the police as evidence of escalating harassment and threats. The hearing was yesterday. She didn't show up. The judge granted the order. My lawyer said the police had enough now to press charges. Criminal harassment. Stalking. Vandalism if they could prove the car was her. They picked her up at a gas station last night. She was sleeping in her car. They arrested her on the spot. My dad got the call this morning from the detective. She's being held because she can't make bail. Her arraignment is next week. My dad hasn't said much since he found out. He's been quiet. We were supposed to have therapy today but he canceled. When I called him he just said I can't believe I married someone like that. Then he hung up. I should feel relieved. She's finally facing consequences. Real ones. But I just feel empty. Like I spent so much energy fighting her that now that it's over I don't know what to do with myself. My friends threw me a little get-together last night to celebrate. They meant well but I couldn't enjoy it. One of them said you won and I almost started crying. Because this doesn't feel like winning. It feels like surviving something that should have never happened in the first place. The detective said she'll probably take a plea deal. That she's looking at probation and mandatory counseling if she's lucky. Maybe jail time if the prosecutor pushes hard enough. Either way the restraining order is permanent unless she appeals and wins. Which my lawyer says won't happen. I keep thinking about what the affair partner's wife said. That people like my stepmom don't change. And I wonder if she's sitting in that cell right now still blaming me. Still thinking she's the victim. Still convinced that everything that happened to her was my fault and not the result of her own choices. My dad asked me yesterday if I thought he failed me. If he could have prevented all of this if he just stood up to her sooner. I didn't know what to say. Because yeah, maybe he could have. But saying that out loud felt cruel when he's already beating himself up. I told him we'd talk about it in therapy. That we'd figure it out together. But honestly I don't know if we can come back from this. Not completely. There's always going to be this thing between us. This knowledge that when it mattered most, he chose her over me. And even though he's sorry now, even though he's trying, I don't know if sorry is enough. She made bail. I don't know how. My lawyer said someone paid it. We're trying to find out who but so far nothing. She got out 3 days after I posted the last update and immediately violated the restraining order. She didn't come near me. She went to my dad's house instead. Showed up at 2 a.m. banging on his door. Screaming that this was all his fault. That he ruined her life by choosing me over her. The neighbors called the cops. They arrested her again but she was back out within 12 hours. Something about overcrowding and the violation being technical since the order specified she couldn't contact me, not him. My lawyer is furious. He said the system is broken and she's exploiting every loophole. But there's nothing we can do except wait for the trial. The trial got delayed. Her public defender requested a continuance. Some procedural thing. It's pushed back 2 months now. 2 more months of this hanging over everything. My dad is falling apart. He stopped going to therapy. Says it's not helping. He's been drinking more. Not like blackout drunk, but enough that I notice. When I confronted him about it, he said, "Can you blame me?" And honestly, I couldn't answer that. Work has been hell. My boss pulled me aside last week. Said he's supportive, but the drama is affecting the team. That people are uncomfortable. He didn't say I needed to leave, but I could hear it in his voice. I'm looking for a new job now. Adding that to everything else. Then my uncle called with news that made everything so much worse. Turns out my stepmom has been talking. A lot. She's been calling extended family. Cousins I barely know. My dad's friends from college. Anyone who'll listen. She's telling them her version of events. That I'm a disturbed girl who was jealous of her relationship with my dad. That I made up the theft accusation because I wanted her gone. That my dad is an abuser who controlled her for years, and when she finally tried to leave, we destroyed her. Half of them believe her. I started getting messages. From my dad's cousin. From his old fraternity brother. From people I haven't seen since I was a kid. They're calling me a liar. Saying I should be ashamed. One message said I was a spoiled brat who couldn't handle her daddy having a life. Another said they hoped I got what I deserved for ruining an innocent woman's life. My dad tried to explain to them. Sent them the evidence. The photos of the bag in the garage. The messages about the affair. The police reports. Some of them apologized. Most just stopped responding. A few doubled down. Said the evidence was faked. That my dad manipulated everything to make her look bad. His best friend from high school called him a narcissist and blocked him on everything. 20 years of friendship gone. I thought it couldn't get worse. Then I found out she contacted my job. Not my current job. A place I applied to. I had a final interview scheduled. I was perfect for the position. Then I got an email saying they were moving forward with other candidates. I didn't think much of it until the recruiter called me off the record. She said someone had contacted them claiming to be a former colleague. Said I had a history of workplace theft and instability. That hiring me would be a liability. The recruiter said she looked into it and realized the claims didn't match my work history. But the hiring manager had already made the decision. They weren't taking any chances. I lost the job because of her. My lawyer said we could add it to the charges. That it's interference with employment. But it's hard to prove when she's using burner phones and fake emails. We're trying, but it's like fighting smoke. The affair partner's wife called me again. This time she was crying. She said her husband wants to reconcile. That he's been seeing my stepmom behind her back still. Meeting her at motels. Giving her money. She thinks he's the one who paid the bail. She asked me what she should do. I didn't know what to tell her. I can barely handle my own mess. Then yesterday I got a package. No return address. Inside was a printed photo of me. Recent. From last week when I was getting coffee. Someone followed me. Took my picture. Sent it to my apartment. On the back was written, "You should have let it go." I called the police. They took the photo. Said they'd investigate. But the detective sounded tired. Like he's already got too many cases and mine is just one more file on his desk. I haven't told my dad about the photo yet. He's already barely functioning. I came over yesterday and he was just sitting in the dark. Didn't even notice I came in. When I turned on the light, he looked at me and said, "I destroyed both of you, didn't I?" I asked what he meant. He said, "I destroyed your childhood by letting her treat you that way. And I destroyed her by not getting her help when she clearly needed it." I lost it. Told him she destroyed herself. That he didn't force her to frame me. Didn't force her to cheat. Didn't force her to harass me. He just shook his head. Said, "But I enabled it. I made it possible." We didn't talk after that. I left. I've been screening his calls since. My friends are worried about me. One of them said I look like I haven't slept in weeks. She's not wrong. Every time I close my eyes, I'm either checking my phone for more messages or listening for sounds outside my door. I had to get my locks changed. Cost me money I don't have, but I couldn't sleep without it. My therapist says I'm showing signs of severe anxiety. Possibly PTSD. She wants me to consider medication. I said I'd think about it, but honestly I'm scared too. Scared that taking pills means she won. That she broke me. The preliminary hearing is in 2 weeks. My lawyer says I'll have to testify. Face her in court. Tell the whole story in front of a judge while she sits there. I keep having nightmares about it. About standing up there and her just smiling at me. Knowing she's already won, because even if she goes to jail, she's already taken everything from me. My social media is gone. I deleted everything. Couldn't handle the fake accounts and the harassment. I feel isolated. Cut off. Like I'm disappearing piece by piece and no one can stop it. Last night I sat in my car for an hour in a parking lot trying to decide if I should just move. Leave the state. Change my name. Start over somewhere she can't find me. But then I thought about the restraining order. The trial. Running away means she wins. Means all of this was for nothing. I don't know what I'm going to do when I see her in that courtroom. Part of me wants to scream at her. To make her understand what she did. But another part of me knows she'll never understand. She'll never take responsibility. She'll sit there playing victim and believing her own lies. And the worst part is I'm starting to doubt myself. Starting to wonder if maybe I should have just let it all go. If my pride and my need for justice was worth all of this destruction. My dad is broken. My career is damaged. My mental health is shot. I'm looking over my shoulder everywhere I go. Was it worth it?